You can set 3 alarms, hit snooze 5 times, drink a strong coffee, open your phone, just for a second, and still step out of bed like you've already lost a battle. Your body feels heavy, your head is foggy, your heart is slightly rushed, and the day begins with a sigh. Now imagine a morning in the Middle Ages. No alarm clock, no takeaway coffee, no bright screen slapping your eyes awake. It's still cold, still demanding, still full of work, but their mornings were often less shattered than ours. Not because life was easier, because their lives produced signals the human body understands instinctively. We like to think a good morning requires more discipline, better tools, one more optimized habit. But a bad morning isn't always a discipline problem. Sometimes it's a signal problem. You're starting the day by feeding your body the wrong cues. Medieval people didn't wake up through a shock. They woke up through a slope. Light rose gradually. Sounds in the village rose gradually. Warmth in the home rose gradually as a fire was lit. The body was lifted out of sleep the way you pull a small boat from water, slowly, with steady force, with rhythm. But what about you? You wake up through a series of jolts. An alarm, blue light, notifications, time, calendars, headlines. You drag yourself out of sleep with repeated little panics, and your nervous system learns a simple lesson. Mornings are emergencies. That's the first medieval principle of a better morning. Begin with real light, not a screen. When you open your phone the moment you wake, you give your brain something that looks like daytime but isn't actually day. Harsh brightness and rapid stimulation. Your mind hasn't even warmed up, and it's already being thrown into a current. But when you begin with natural light, or at least warm, gentle light, you send the right message. Day is arriving, calmly, and your system can switch on without fear. You don't need to live in the countryside or wake at sunrise to do this. You only need to replace the shock with a slope. Open the curtains, stand by a window for a few minutes. Turn on a warm lamp instead of blasting overhead light. Let your eyes receive morning as a signal, not a slap. The second principle is simple. Warm the body and move it before you move the mind. In the Middle Ages, morning didn't begin with sitting still and consuming information. It began with small, real actions. Lighting a fire, carrying water, sweeping, feeding animals, preparing food. Those tasks did something modern life often forgets. They moved blood through the body. They warmed hands and feet. They pulled the nervous system out of sleep without forcing it. It might sound strange, but many terrible mornings aren't caused by a lack of coffee. They happen because your body is still cold in the biological sense. Slow circulation, tight muscles, shallow breathing, heavy thinking because you haven't created movement yet. Medieval people solved that by starting with the body without calling it optimization. You can steal this with a tiny ritual. Before you speak to the world, speak to your body. Drink a few sips of water. Wash your face with cool or lukewarm water. Walk a few loops around the room. Stretch slowly. Do one small household task for 3 to 5 minutes. Not as a workout, just as an engine start. And here's the medieval style twist. This reduces the need for motivation. Motivation is something you try to drag out of your mind. Movement is something that drags you out of your mind. When the body is running, the mind follows more easily. The third principle is about breakfast. It shouldn't be a sugar spike. It should be a foundation. Medieval people didn't always eat an impressive morning meal. In many places, and for many classes, breakfast was simple. But the logic mattered. They ate to work, not to stimulate. Their morning food was often warm, plain and steady thick porridge, bread with something salty, a thin soup, warm liquid, sometimes leftovers reheated. It wasn't glamorous, but it had one strength. It didn't launch you up and drop you down. Modern mornings often begin with two sharp triggers: sugar and information. Sugar shoots energy up fast and can crash it fast. Information tightens the mind quickly and exhausts it quickly. And the result is that you enter the day feeling like you've been running without having gone anywhere. A medieval-style breakfast doesn't have to be medieval food. It only needs medieval logic. Warmer, simpler, less stimulating. Add some protein or healthy fat so your energy stays stable. Instead of starting the day with sweet, rushed fuel, start it with something that tells your body, today will be steady. Put these three principles together, and you get a medieval morning modern edition. You don't need to change your life. You only need to change how you start the day. Imagine it like this. You wake up and don't grab your phone immediately. You open the curtains or stand near light for a few minutes. You drink water. You wash your face. You do one small task: make the bed, open a window, sweep a corner, or simply walk and breathe slowly. Then, if you eat, you choose a foundation. Warm, simple, less stimulating. And only after that, only then do you open your phone, your calendar, the world. The strange thing is how quickly the day stops feeling jerked around. You rely less on hard jolts. You fall into rhythm faster without fighting yourself. Medieval people didn't have morning routines the way we talk about them now. They simply lived in conditions that pushed the body into natural rhythm. Rising light, real movement, and steady food. And that rhythm, no matter how much the world changes, is something the human body recognizes immediately. You don't need to go back to the past. You only need to reclaim something the past never truly lost. A way to begin the day without making your body panic. Because sometimes a good morning doesn't come from adding one more thing. It comes from removing one wrong thing and giving your body the right signals from the very first minute.